Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. It's my second episode of Monday Motivation. Oh my gosh. How is everybody today? I hope everybody had a great weekend. Did everybody have a great weekend? It has been what? A whirlwind, right? We can't believe it's almost July's almost over and we are almost going to be in August. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. In fact, I think no, it's not our last. We have one more Saturday before the end of July. How is everybody? So my Monday motivation, there's so many topics I want to talk about. And I did not go see the Barbie movie this weekend. Maybe I'm the only person in the universe who can go see it. I think I want to see it, but I think I might have to wait till it comes out on the TV because I don't think I can drag JF to it. I don't know. Did anybody go out there and watch the Barbie movie? Did not go see the Barbie movie. I hear, that it was fun and everything else. I never played with Barbies. Did you? I did not play with Barbies when I was little. That just wasn't really my thing. I was more of a baby doll person. Obviously, I got into having kids. That's one of my topics for today. So I spent yesterday with an old friend and it was so much fun. And I hadn't seen her in years. And I went and I met her for brunch. And it was like, I didn't get home till 5 o'clock. I met her at 10 a.m. and I didn't get home till 5. We ended up going to 2 restaurants because the first restaurant we went to, they asked us to leave and we had to go to another restaurant to finish up some more conversation. And then we ended up going shopping. And don't girls just love to shop? I mean, I tried on probably 800 dresses. It was insane, but I don't know. I'm not liking what's out there these days. Maybe it's my body. Maybe it's me. I don't know. I just can't buy anything. That's so weird though. Cause I swear, I think for a while there, I might have been shopping. I've watched a couple things today, especially on social media, that have gotten me thinking. One was Mel Robbins. You guys know I love Mel Robbins. I think she's awesome, awesome, awesome. I love her messages. I saw she got tattoos with her kids, her entire family. They all got the same tattoo. I don't know. I'm not a big tattoo fan, even though my husband has a bunch of them. And I think some of my kids have them, but it's not my thing. But good for her. Kudos to her. But what she talked about today on one of her little lives was that, or her stories, she talked about how we compare and how instead of comparing, we should start our own businesses and do something that keeps us busy. Excuse Penelope's nails on the, she's like walking behind me. But instead of comparing people, we need to keep busy ourselves. And I think for some of us, that's really hard, right? Because whatever is going on in our lives, we're not busy enough maybe that we do compare. And I think social media makes it even harder because we look at these pictures on Facebook and on Instagram, and it looks like this beautiful family. And we're like, wait a minute, I don't have that. Why don't I have that? I wish I had that. What is going on with me? Why don't I have that kind of life? And we don't know what it's like to actually live in someone else's shoes. We have no idea. And I've always said that like a picture takes a millisecond to capture. And then you have no idea that 2 seconds before somebody could have been yelling at somebody. And right after the picture was taken, somebody was yelling at somebody and somebody was giving them an evil eye, or they were like, oh my God, I hate you. Why did you make me do this? But we compare, and I compare all the time. I mean, I was already crying today because of, some family stuff. And it was like, wow, I compare. I see people with these lives that look so amazing and these kids, and they all get together as adult children and parents, and everybody's having this great thing. And it looks like, I don't know, like a Norman Rockwell painting. And it's like, all I want is that, and I don't have it. And I just long for that. But I have to get into acceptance. And acceptance means that I have to take things for how they are. I cannot take things how I wish they were, what they could be, what I wanted them to be, but I have to take them for face value for where they are. I have to be able to look at the things that are going on in my life and be like, okay, even though this doesn't feel right and I wish it were different, it is this way. I can't change it. I have to accept it. I have to accept it right this minute. And it's really hard. It's really, really, really hard. And I'm going to put this on pause for 1 second to let the dog out so you guys don't have to listen to her anymore. Hold on one darn second. Hold on. I'm back. I just let her out. It's a billion degrees out and she just wants to be outside. She's out there. scratching at the door, going, I want to go out. I want to go out. And I'm like, you're an idiot, but she's sitting out there and she's happy. So why should I care? Just like your kids. I got to accept that my dog wants to sit outside in a fur coat and it's 100 degrees outside. Okay, we're going to let you do that. Go do that. But acceptance is really hard, at least for me. And, but I have to do that. And I can't compare what's going on outside to what's going on in my life. I just can't. I can't compare what everybody else is doing. Hence, I don't really go on social media, but like once a day, because I don't, if I get like stuck down that little rabbit hole, I can't come out. I'm like, oh my God. And I get off there and I feel even worse about myself. I like to follow strangers and influencers because I just find them fun and I don't know them and I don't worry about it. Like, oh my gosh. I don't worry about those things. So when they're a stranger, but when it's somebody I know, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to be them. Why do they have this perfect life? And I don't. Why do they? I don't know. I don't know if their life really is perfect. I know that when I was out yesterday with my friend, she was saying to me, she's like, I don't have a lot of friends. You know, it's so hard. And I have really come to the conclusion that I think since COVID and the inception of and the development of social media and the fact that people live so much on there, it has pulled us apart as a human race than it has pulled us together. Yes, we can still see where people are in their lives, to see that people are doing things that we didn't, you know, we might not have known. Like, I know my mom probably didn't see anybody that she went to high school with if she went on Facebook or whatever. Maybe she did, but you know, people didn't know what people were doing, and you couldn't find people. If you'd grown up somewhere, you didn't know where they were, and you'd be like, that's a great thing about social media, because you can find people, I guess, if you want to be found. I know my husband's not on there at all, so he has no idea, but I think that going out there and having this social media has made us further apart. It makes us like have this jealousy and this envy, and we think that people have all these great things going on, and we're like, why not me? Why don't I have this life? And I think that if you have enough friends on one hand, that's 5 friends that are real friends, that are not just people that invite you over for dinner, and not people that invite you to go to the bar and have drinks with them, not people that just want, you know, not just people that are just people that just want some time with you, but real friends, real people that you can actually communicate with and go deep with and go honest with and tell them how you're feeling. It's hard to find those people in your life. I know that because for me, I forever wanted to, I have a billion acquaintances. You know, I look on social media and I have a lot of acquaintances on there and on all these different places. But to have those real friendships where you can be honest and be your authentic self, and you can share what's going on in your life, especially when you're going through a hard time, which I have to admit, I have been for a while. It's been a long time now. It's been over 18 months that it's been like this hard thing that I've been going through. And with my family, and there's nothing I can really do about it. You know, I think that I have to tell you that I believe, you know, we get up in the morning, we try to do the best we can do as human beings. We try to do the best we can do, and we've got to raise each other up, and we don't have to bring each other down, and we don't have to reiterate things that happened 100 years ago all the time. And we don't have to be like, this is why this happened to me, and I need to be mad about this. I think that we have to come to this term, as we said, acceptance. And I also think we also have to learn to forgive. Forgiveness is huge. It is huge. But we carry around these things, these angers and these resentments on our shoulders, and they weigh us down, and they make us feel justified for our behaviors, and they make us feel like I deserve this. I deserve to be mad at this person because they did this, or I deserve to, you know, never want to speak to that person for this reason, or alienate them from my party, or alienate them from an event because of something that they did to me. And we don't pick up the phone and say to someone, hey, you know what? Can I talk to you about something that's been bothering me? Because I really want to talk to you about it. And I don't want to cause a drama, but I just want to talk about it. It's like, how do we do that? Can we just come to this place where we can pick up the phone and talk to each other? instead of having these resentments forever and this non-forgiveness and these closing of doors and these boundaries that are so strong and hard that we put up. I mean, I've done them my whole life. And the only reason I say this is because I know what it's like to hold a resentment towards family. I know what it's like to separate myself from family. I know what it's like to say I am setting a boundary. And I did that. And now, I can't wish things were different, which I do wish they were. I can't change things. I can just try and do the best I can do each and every day. I have tried to reach out to people and they don't want to reach back out. So what do? Do you just keep trying, or do you just say, oh my gosh, I can't reach out anymore, but I'm going to pray for that person every day. And I'm going to think about them and I'm going to send them white light. And I'm going to, before I go to sleep every night, I'm going to say, God, please watch over them. And that's a way. But holding these resentments so tight, they can make us sick, right? Being angry at people can make us sick. Carrying around hate and judgment towards others is really, really not cool. I have no idea. I just mentioned what it's like to walk in someone else's shoes. I can say I know someone, but until you really live in their house and are with the people that they are with, or if they're by themselves, whatever it is, you until you live in that person's life and walk in their shoes, you have no idea. You have no idea. And for us to judge somebody else makes us smaller, right? Because it makes me smaller by me judging what it's like to live in somebody else's life and say, oh, it's bad. Oh, it's good. It's so interesting because you guys know, I'm coming up on an anniversary. I haven't had a drink in almost 17 years. And it was 17 years ago today, I was drinking, right? I was drinking 17 years ago and I saw things very black and white. Okay. It was very black and white. Either you were my friend because you did this, 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 and this. And I wasn't your friend if you did this, this, and this. And you had to have this, this, and this for me to be your friend. It was very isolating. It was very, very, very isolating. Having this judgment towards people that I didn't even know who they were. It was kind of sad. I think back to it now. I had a lot of acquaintances at that point and I was going to a lot of parties, but I had no idea who I was. And I always was what you wanted me to be, right? I would dress a certain way because, you wanted me to. I acted a certain way because I wanted you to like me. I noticed that I would do things that, I don't think you do to make friends. I just did things hoping that I would have this friendship or this thing would happen. If I did this for you, you would like me. I really wanted you to like me. I wanted you to like me. So I was willing to do whatever it took to get you to like me. And sometimes that was doing things that really weren't in my nature to be doing, and things that sometimes I didn't really even like to do, but I did them. And I didn't know who I was. And the black and white thinking, I thought I wanted to get to where I wanted to go, which I had no idea where I really wanted. If like thinking back, I had no idea where I wanted to go, but I wanted to try to get there. It didn't matter what I was thinking, my heart. I didn't take the time to say, what does Elizabeth need? And what does Elizabeth want? Where is Elizabeth in this journey? It was kind of like, I just went. I just constantly just went like a bull in a china shop. I just went all the time. And I was always busy and I was always running around and I was always on the phone and I was always going to this and always going to that. And in the end, I'm sitting here, with almost 17 years sobriety, and I almost am 55 years old, God willing, in October. And I've had this journey and I want a new journey now. And I want to have a life. And it was interesting. I'm going to get to a little side note here. I talked about watching influencers a second ago, and I started watching this Caroline Shop with Caroline. I found her on Instagram, again, scrolling through Instagram, and I found her and I'm like, oh my God, she's so much like me. It's crazy. I swear to God, she's so much like me. Now she wears makeup. I started putting on makeup. I started wearing all this jewelry because she wears jewelry and it makes you happy. And I have to tell you, it makes me happy. And I found her and I was like, wow, she's so cool. She's so cool. I just love what she does. And she's 51. She's a mom and she has 2 sons and she has a husband. And I'm just like, she's cool. I really like her. And I learned from watching her. It's so funny because I watched her today and she was talking about the same exact things I was talking about with my girlfriend yesterday. Because my girlfriend kept saying to me yesterday, you're so lucky. You're so lucky you have JF. You're just so lucky you have JF. She said it like 50 times. You're so lucky. And I was like, thanks. He's kind of lucky too, by the way. And I'm lucky because we respect each other and we love each other. It's not always a walk in the park. You know, we have 5 kids between us, and at any given time, somebody's going through something. And it's life. And I dated a ton of people, as my friends know. And when I met him, he was different than anybody else I'd ever dated because I knew that he was a grown-up, which was something I wanted. I didn't want a little boy. I didn't want all the rest of stuff. Like, he walked in and he was a grown-up. He had this persona about him. He owned himself. He'd worked on himself. Hence, he's sober almost 25 years. He had done things in his life that were like signs of something that I really wanted in my life. You know, it was funny because I had winked at him. And for those of you that don't know, I met him on Match.com and I had no idea that he was sober. And I got off the phone with him after the first time, which I did talk to him for an hour. And the first time I talked to him on the phone, and he sent me a text message and he's like, do you always talk to strangers for an hour that you don't know? And little did I say, well, yes, I do. If I'm at the grocery store, I'll talk to a stranger for an hour for sure. But when I hung up the phone, I knew that there was something about him. I was like, God, I think he's sober. I could just tell that he had done work on himself. And I said to him, are you sober? And he's like, yes, I am. At that point he had whatever, I guess he had 15 years and, or 14 years, whatever it was. And I knew that that was somebody that I could build a life with because he was taking time to work on himself, because I've taken so much time to work on myself. So it was, it worked. Water seeked water. I wanted somebody who was in my place. And I don't know if there was luck, as much as there was, I had dated enough and I knew what I was looking for and he knew what he was looking for, and it worked. And again, it's not that we don't fight, because we do fight and we do have mix-ups and we do sometimes sleep in other bedrooms and we do all those crazy things that couples do, but we talk and we believe that we believe in marriage, and we believe that it takes work, and we believe that it is, it's worth it. You know, you got to work it if you're worth it. And I don't know, I can see times where I could have thrown a towel in or whatever and walked away. And I did that in my first marriage due to where I was. I had 3 babies, whatever. I don't need to go over what happened in my first marriage, but it blew up. And I knew when I did get divorced, it wasn't just him, it was me. And I had to take responsibility for my actions in that marriage. And I was not the best, wife to him where I was and what had happened. And again, looking back is 2020, right? I can't go back there, but I learned a lot from that. And I learned I didn't want to do those same things twice. So I had to take responsibility for those things. And I think that doing that doesn't make me lucky. It just makes me realize that of who I am. Now, again, I was sober for a while when I met him. And I think that if we are doing this self-reflection and we know who we are, really know who we are. We aren't and I mean, really taking the time to find out who you are is important. Taking that time to go and say, okay, this is what really makes me tick. And this is what I really like to do. I like to get outside. I like to exercise. I fibbed to him and I told him that I played golf, even though I didn't. And, but it gave me an opportunity for him to take me to a golf course. And I bring out my 14-year-old clubs that I had with me. And I tried it. And I think that doing that, like putting yourself in a place where you're vulnerable and you're open to having an experience with somebody that you've always wanted to do, but maybe haven't done, but you want to do and you want to incorporate in your life is something huge. And being who you are and not what somebody else is or wants you to be is really important. Like being your authentic self. Who are you? Take the time to figure out who you are and accept who you are with the bumps and the lumps and the wrinkles, as I sit here and rubbing underneath my eyes. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or whatever, we all have our bumps and our lumps, and I earned every one of these. I've earned every smile line, every laugh line, all those things. I've had a life, and I accept that. I have to accept everything. I have to accept where my kids are in my life and where they aren't, where I wish they were. It doesn't matter what I wish. They are where they are. I've got to respect where they want to be, and I got to keep them there. And as Henry says, I got to do them. They've got to do them, boo-boo. I can't worry about it. I've got to take care of me. As Mel Robbins said, I can't compare my insides to other people outside. I've got to get busy in my own life. That's why I'm amping this up. It is all about getting this out there. I want people to listen to Busy Living Sober, and maybe I'm going to change the name. And I want to get people's opinions on names. You do you, boo-boo? Do you like that? Do you like, I have all these different ideas of different names that I would love to use. Like, what about Rising from the Phoenix, or The Road to Happy Destiny, or Up, Down, It's Real, baby. This life is real. We are all doing this real thing, and we want to help each other get to the next day by loving each other and showing each other that everything is okay. Everything is okay. No one is luckier than the other person. But you need to get to know you before you find a mate. Or if you have a mate or you have a partner and it's not going the way you want it to go, figure out something that you both like to do that makes you happy, that might make them happy, that you can do together. Right? Nobody said this life was easy. Nobody said this life was fair. But having these people in your lives that think that you're amazing and love you unconditionally is very important. But the first person you have to love is you. You have to love you first. And it's hard. And it's really hard at times, especially if you play old tapes back in your head all the time of what it used to be like and what you wish was different. None of us have a time machine. All we can do is change today and move forward, and sometimes set some goals for yourself. I mean, I have these books all over my house with just notes of things that I want to do and things that I inspire to do. And we all have excuses of why we don't want to do it and why we can't do it. If it's financial, if it's health wise, or whatever it is, you can pick up a book and you can read a book. You can do certain things that fit what you can afford and what you can do health wise. You can figure all those things out. But taking the time to figure out who you are authentically takes time. And it takes some soft gloves. And we used to call them, they were called kid gloves, those kid leather gloves. And we need those kid gloves on our hands so that we're nice to ourselves. And we treat ourselves with love and with compassion. And we learn what our needs are and how we're going to get those needs met. And if our partner cannot do it, how can we do it for ourselves? How are you going to find a friend that you can trust? You have to leave your house to find a friend. You're not going to find a friend sitting in your house. You need to go do things. You need to get out and you need to try things. And I mean, if you go and you look up in your town, I'm sure there's like a play. There's probably a garage sale. There's, cleanups for cleaning up the street. I mean, there's many, 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 many options for you to make friends, and going out there and putting yourself out. I don't mean all the way. Now, I'm not asking you to give every person your phone number by any means, but it's like taking the time to go out and see who you may like and maybe go meet them for a cup of coffee and then meet them again for a cup of coffee. Go for a walk, maybe play pickleball. You know, pickleball is awesome. I started playing pickleball. As you guys know, I just talked about it the other day. I was going to a class on Saturday where it was so hot I could literally taste my sweat. It was rolling down my face. And I'm not a person that exercises like that normally. So I don't know if it was just because it's a billion degrees here in Florida. But doing something for you, maybe even buying yourself flowers and accepting that where you are isn't where you're going to be for the rest of your days. Where you are is where you are today. It's not going to be here all the time. It's not. So accepting where you are, and what are you going to do this week of July 24th, 2023? What are you going to set up for yourself that you want to do for you that will make you feel good? It has nothing to do with anybody else in your life. It's about you. What can you do to make yourself feel good? And instead of wishing that you were different and wishing your life was different, what can you do to accept where you are right now? How can you accept it? It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I found out today, like something that I was devastating, really devastating. I'm not going to get into particulars because I don't want to give it, I don't want to put it on the air, but I found out something and it was really, it was sad. It's sad. It's really, really sad. And it isn't something that I wanted in my life ever, but it's here. And I have to accept it and I have to move forward. And that's all I can do. I can't change it. I can't, it is what it is. And acceptance is the answer to all my prayers. Acceptance. You know, I can't change things. I have to accept where they are. And it's hard. And you know what I did today, which is something I never do, because I'm a fighter and I'm pig-headed and I'm strong and I believe in what I think and all the rest of it. But you know, today, for the first time, when I found out this devastating news, I ended up leaning into it and I felt it. And I had this sadness run over me and I cried and I got really sad, got a little mad. But now I have to let it go. And I have to trust that, I don't know, people are going to be people and they're going to do what they need to do. And I'm just sorry it is the way it is. That's all I can say. So acceptance, realizing we can't compare, do not compare this week. Try not to compare. Every time you do it, maybe recognize it and be like, oh my gosh, I just compared myself again. I don't want to do that. Okay, don't do that. And then make sure that you take the time to do something nice for you. Even if it is buying some flowers. There's my flowers over my shoulder. I'm going to show you guys some. I love lilies. Lilies are my favorite. So do something for you. And I hope you have a great week. I have a guest coming on Wednesday, and I hope you will tune in. She's my teacher from A Wellness Revolution. She's amazing. She taught, she went to school at Georgetown. She was a nurse at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C., and she now lives in Amsterdam and has her own A Wellness Revolution. Amazing, amazing, amazing. You guys have got to tune in. She's very wise, and she'll be tuning in from Amsterdam. And then on Friday, I'll be back with some, some wisdom for the weekend. So I hope everybody enjoyed today's episode. If you liked my show, please subscribe. Subscribe to me on iTunes, on Spotify, on Apple. I said iTunes, YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's my favorite. So go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, and until Wednesday. keep getting busy, living sober, keep getting busy, living life, keep getting busy doing what you need to do to accept where you are and make some happy for you. Have a happy. Talk to you all in a couple of days. Bye.